I'm Chloe Quinn, and I'm going to be doing my capstone presentation on women's equality during the French Revolution. The French Revolution lasted from 1789 to 1799. During this time, there were years of unrest due to discrimination. The Enlightenment period was also during this time, and during the Enlightenment period, people started to question authority and religion. The estate system was formed. The clergy was at the top, and they included the priests, the king, the queen. And then in the middle were the nobles, and that included the military. And then at the bottom were the peasants, and they were basically just like the general population. So the causes of the French Revolution included discrimination, the rising prices of things, and food shortages. So my topic relates to the big idea of beliefs and culture, because women started to question their equality, and if women were equal, that culture would be beneficial to everyone. The women also believed that they deserved the same rights as men. So my main argument overall is going to be that women were viewed as like inferior to men. The women held menial jobs. They did things such as like take care of their house. They also took care of their children while the man was working. They were not allowed to have any property. The property had to be in the man's name, and they had no financial rights. There was a lot of political and social unrest because the women didn't have rights. So some more causes of the French Revolution were that the population was too large. They had food shortages. Their taxation system was poor, and they were in a lot of debt from the war that they just had with Britain. So some of the things they did to help with these issues was King Louis XVI held a meeting, and most women were not invited. There were very few that were there, and the women that were there, their complaints were never considered. The women drafted a list. These are the things that they wanted to ask during the meeting that were never considered. They wanted better education and property protections, because that's what men had. The women also took down the Bastille on July 14th, 1789. This is one of the times that they are able to fight alongside men. And they also held a food shortage protest in Versailles on October 5th, 1789. Some other actions included that on March 6th, 1792, Pauline Léon sent a petition to the National Assembly for women's right to bear arms, so like they could carry weapons and stuff and fight in the military, kind of. And then on July 9th, 1793, Claire Lacombe and Pauline Léon founded the Society of Revolutionary Women. And then during the time of the French Revolution, the women formed 56 groups. They also formed social circles and salons to talk about what they believed they deserved. So some of the women's advocates included Marie Antoinette. She was the queen of France, and she led the way for the start of the French Revolution. She was eventually executed. There was also Olympe de Gouges. She wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Women and Female Citizen. She was also eventually executed. And then there was Pauline Lyon. She founded the Society of Revolutionary Republican Women. One of her strong beliefs was she felt that women should be able to fight in the military. Some other women advocates were Etta Palm d'Elders, Mary Wollstonecraft, Charlotte Corday, and then there was one men advocate. There was very few. Marie Jean Caritat. So, like, the so what was, like, the inequalities were challenged during the revolution. Women did gain some rights during this time, such as the right to divorce, inherit family property, and then girls and boys were able to have equality in inheritance and education, and their fathers had to pay alimony. But most of these rights that were gained were actually lost. Women have struggled to challenge people's beliefs around women's rights throughout history. Some takeaways from this was that I learned that they sacrificed a lot, but they never achieved much. I learned that women didn't get the right to vote until 150 years later. I learned, like, the people, like the heroes that tried to fight for their equality during this time. One of my takeaways, and something I can take with me, is I realized how fortunate I am to live during this time period, and how many more rights I have than they did, and how fortunate I am for that. My favorite part was that I gained the appreciation for the fight for women's rights, which is still going on today. My least favorite part is that it's taken so long for women to gain these rights. And then this last slide shows my sources that I used in my project. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.